In this episode, we're going to talk to our new vice president, Dr. Johns. She met with the FVMA, and she's going to give us some information about what she learned.
Hi, everyone. So last Saturday on the February 28th, I went to Orlando and we had kind of like a round table discussing some issues and some concerns around the state and just updates from the FVMA about a multitude of things from business ownership to leadership opportunities and ways that we can try to improve our local and state membership to our local VMAs like JVMS.
So there were some interesting topics, including they talked about the Power of 10, the Inspire program, and we're trying to grow not only the JVMS, but also the FVMA. So I've heard about this Power of 10, and I don't know where it is, what it is. What is the Power of 10?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was either until I went to the meeting. I got a little bit of a description. It's basically almost like a leadership group that you apply for at a certain point of the year, and they try to get people from different districts around the state. And it can be for anybody looking to develop leadership skills to possibly wanting to own a business and learning more about business ownership. And you apply for it, and then they kind of take the top 10 applicants that they're looking for that year, and they'll all be chosen to go to meetings sometimes across the state, but I think Orlando mostly because that's the FVMA conference. And basically it's a learning opportunity for veterinarians to develop their leadership skills, business skills, and just interact and make connections with veterinarians around the state.
I do know about the Inspire program. That's for vets that might be depressed and need some counseling. You said that these are vets that are also counselor that will help you along. And
Yeah, so the Inspire program is run and funded through the FVMA. It's free for FVMA members and non-members, if I remember correctly from what they said. And you get 3 sessions per year with a certified counselor, and all of these counselors are also veterinarians. So they've at some point practiced veterinary medicine, so they understand what it's like to be in the industry. And then some of them have other credentials as far as, certified counselor and all of that. It's totally free. You go online. It's super easy. There's barcodes that you can find online, and you basically sign up. You put your license information, your name, you pick the time and the counselor that you want, and they have descriptions of those counselors. So if one speaks to you more than another, you can pick that person. And then it's a good hour-long session or so just talking about whatever you want to talk about, whether it's aspirations, difficulties in the clinic, difficulties in the career, your career state, or you just want to talk about unrelated things outside of veterinary medicine. They're there for you too. I used it one time and thought it was lovely. I really had a good experience. So utilize it. It's there. You can do more than 3. You just get the 3 for free. And I even recommend it just doing it quarterly or every 4 months as like just a peace of mind release with no judgment, no nothing. And it's from someone, you're totally anonymous. And it just feels good to sometimes say what's on your mind without feeling the need that you're going to get any flack. Prevent that problem.
yeah, you met with them. It was a round table, and then they're trying to get more members into the FVMA. So they talked about more family oriented events, going to sporting events, things like that.
Yeah, actually, Northeast Florida, our area, has the most membership compared to any of the other districts, which was really interesting when they showed us the graph. So kudos to Northeast Florida, the Jacksonville area, for having the most members in the FVMA registered. And you can also be technicians or assistants or managers and actually be a part of the FVMA. They're included as well. And they're working also on increasing practice manager and licensed techs and assistants things in the FVMA as well as veterinarians. But yeah, they, especially the people in the Tampa area, a lot of what they're doing for their social events for membership boost is doing social events like going to lightning games down there, which would be, I guess, like a Jaguars or a jumbo shrimp game or an Iceman game here. And there is no lectures, there is no CE involved. It is literally just social, and you can bring your family members, which is a big perk for those veterinarians that are working mom or dads that have families, that after work, they want to come home and enjoy time with their family. So sometimes that's a reason they don't want to go to these things after work, to these events that are only for members or only for leaders. But these social events allow you to bring your kids, bring your family to family-friendly events, interact with your colleagues without worrying about any education associated with it. It's just have fun and be there.
Because that CE on Sunday to get up at 7:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
I had to really negotiate with myself to get down to the.
Whether you're gonna be there.
You have to go. Well, I was surprised. We
Yeah.
had a big turnout. Every seat was taken.
Yep.
And shout out to all the vets that spoke. I like that this CE because they gave us a lot of practical.
Yes.
Especially Dr. Nyhouse. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of neuters, and then the cryptorchids. It's hard finding the cryptorchid testicles. So his thing is get to the bladder, you pick up the bladder, and just follow the vas deferens.
Yep. His stuff was super practical for your general practitioner, which made it more engaging because that's what we need to see. We need to see like surgical things related to your general practitioner, splenectomies, cryptorchids, spay techniques, especially learning about how Europe does ovariectomies and not ovary hysterectomies was really interesting. And that's how Dr. Nyhouse does his. Gastropexies, those were the major topics because that's what we do as general practitioners. And that's what made it so useful on Sunday.
He said in his talk that he just cuts out the ovary, leaves the uterus in young animals.
Yep. He said if they're older or sickly or have pyometras or something, take the whole uterus and ovary. But if they're a young, healthy, 6 or 12-month dog in for a routine spay, he's just taking the ovaries and leaving the uterus and not having any issues. So that was really interesting. It's more of a European thing, and maybe in the next coming years might become more of a U.S. thing. But that's a slow and upcoming topic for sure.
Let's be controversial. Tell us about the VPA. For those that don't know, they're trying to pass legislation in Tallahassee called the Veterinary. What's the VPA?
Yeah, it's like a mid-level practitioner.
A mid-level practitioner, so it'll be like a
physician's assistant.
Like a physician's assistant, and they've been trying to pass it for a while. Mm-hmm. But what did they tell you about this bill?
Yeah, so it hasn't passed already previously. Unfortunately, it is getting closer to that. The FVMA stance is they are very vehemently against the VPA and are actively trying their best to fight against it. It is very hard. They are up against big money, big corporations, but they also had the SFVMA students from UF representatives go speak in Tallahassee or at one of those events, basically telling legislators, hey, we're students of veterinary medicine and this is not something that we want to see in our future. It unfortunately sounds like it may still be closer to passing in the next few years. They said no matter how hard we fight, it's definitely a very strong concern that it will pass. So all I can ask is for those that are interested, like myself, in business ownership in a veterinary private clinic, and those that want to develop their leadership skills and want to really keep veterinary medicine the way it is or the way it has been before, the industry is changing and we're really going to have to step up and make sure that we stand up for what we believe in, because otherwise this may become a thing and it is going to change the industry as far as private practices versus corporations. And the term DVM or veterinarian is going to change if we don't stand up for this.
Because what I've heard is they're trying to get the CVTs to do a little more. But what they're doing is they're kind of bypassing the certified veterinary technicians.
Yeah.
And this passed in Colorado. Mm-hmm. What I heard is that not many people are signing up because you could just rather be a DVM than sort of.
Yeah, that is true. They did say that's the one thing going against them, especially with the evidence in Colorado that they're having a really hard time. It passed in Colorado, but they cannot get students to apply and faculty to teach. They're having a really hard time actually filling the spots that they have made through their VPA bill. I don't know how that's going to change in the future. Maybe there's not enough word out or something like that. That is the only thing they have going against them, is the veterinary community is not sending people to do those types of jobs, which hopefully if we stay strong enough and that continues, may shut it down in the future, but it's going to be hard to fight for sure. So we're going to have to do the best we can and, help our students and help our private practices and really thrive and show people that the industry is still the same.
And what did they say about the sellers and buyers of clinics?
Yeah, so I know people like me who are aspiring business owners, for a while I just had a hard time finding any clinic that was interested in selling in the next 5 years or so, and it was just hard to get connections with those people. And I'm about 4 years out. I moved back to Jacksonville 2 years ago, and I just didn't know where to start. I was like, how do I find someone who's interested in selling, who wants to be a mentor about business ownership, and maybe even develop a non-traditional way of transitioning to ownership rather than through like a big bank loan. And we are not alone. Other clinics, the folks that I spoke to from Southwest Florida, around Tampa, St. Pete, Sarasota, they're also struggling with the same thing. And for them, they said it's just a lack of communication and knowledge for their young people and their older people. And the corporations are offering double of what things are worth. And that's making it really hard for an owner to turn down a certain amount of money from a corporation versus a young aspiring but broke new business owner that can't give them double what it's worth, but they're looking for, and they might be looking for a non-traditional way, which is like a 5-year buy-in plan or something like that, and they're all struggling with the same problem, and we haven't really come to a great conclusion about how to make that better. It was mentioned that there are Facebook groups. There's a aspiring owners and DVMs Facebook group, which I am in, and there are people talking about selling their private clinics, and they can put the area of the country that they're in. There's other social media pages, but that's really all that we threw out there. And so I kind of told them, I was like, I went around to 26 clinics in one day and gave them business cards and talked to them. And now
you're going to pound on doors until they sell you a clinic. I think that's how it's done.
Yeah, and now I have options.
The owners I've talked to, it's delicate, right? Because they don't want the staff to know they're going to sell.
Right.
So sometimes they have to do it in secrecy.
Right.
And most graduates, they're $200,000-$300,000 in debt. So when this corporation just writes you a check or it shows up with a couple bags of money, it's easier.
Yeah. It's definitely a matter of effort and a matter of deliberation and a matter of sticking to your guns. And if that's what you want, sometimes you're going to take a lower pay at a private practice, and that's okay. You have the ability to develop and become a leader there. I think a little bit more than you might, where you don't have the opportunity for business ownership. Like, you will hit a certain level and that may be all that you get. You might be a great leader. But there's definitely ways to become a great leader and an owner. We just have to figure out, how to make those ways stand out and how to get the word out to young veterinarians.
Some vets have told me they just would rather have a job, because once you have your own practice, there's a lot more stress involved, especially when you have these big clinics with the big payroll. And what they've told me now, that things have really slowed down. There's less pet owners taking their animals to the vet. There's a series of problems. So the clinics that are not positioned well economically, there might be problems.
Yeah.
In the near future.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern. And there's always going to be economic downturns and upturns. Like during COVID, it was a huge upturn, and that was not expected. And unfortunately, over the last 5 years, we have really backed off from that. That was like a boom in the veterinary medicine. But that was a lot of when a lot of things changed too. And we're just going to have to take those ups and downs with the economy. And even through different legislators that come through and in and out, it's going to change how veterinary medicine is seen, and the corporate scene is going to change how veterinary medicine is seen, and costs, and just the price of nothing that we can control. Large medical pharmaceutical companies with the prices going up, and it is factors in these decisions of young veterinarians wanting to invest and take a risk versus take the safety net and just be a associate, whether that's private or corporate.
So thanks to the vice president. We appreciate that you went to Orlando and got us all this good information. And tell us about your relief work.
Yes.
Before you give your plug, I just want you to know. I think in business it's sort of like the cycle of an insect, like a butterfly. So you start first as an egg, then you become a maggot, and then you become a pupa, and then a butterfly. So first, when you graduate, you're 1099. No, you become a W-2.
Yeah.
Right, just
yeah.
an employee.
Yep.
Then you're now a 1099.
Yeah.
So then you try to buy a clinic. Right, that's the
That's
stage.
the third stage. Yep.
And then you're just an investor. That's the butterfly. And then
The butterfly
you could go, ski somewhere and be on vacation, and then just getting revenue.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think you're in the second stage
Yeah.
of this butterfly.
Yes, my staging of the butterfly of veterinary medicine started as a W-2 employee for two fabulous companies, Trail Ridge Veterinary Services in Hoboken, Georgia, and San Jose Beauclair Animal Hospital in Mandarin. And now I'm taking that next step, and I opened my own LLC, Florida and Georgia approved relief company called River City Veterinary Relief Services. I may have stopped by your clinic at some point and dropped a business card off, as I went to like over 40 clinics around the city. So
You have a lot of focus
Yes.
and consistency.
Yes, very focused, very determined, and it really paid off for me.
That sounds great. Yeah, thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more JVMS news.
Are you looking to connect with like-minded veterinarians in Northeast Florida? Join the JVMs. We're the premier hub for Jacksonville vets to earn local CE Tackle North Florida, unique legislative hurdles, and connect with tight-knit community of colleagues. Don't practice on an island. Join the JVMs and lead the future of veterinary medicine in the River City.